I'll
Good to
get rid of
go.
the overheads. Yeah, that's better, right?
Yep.
There
All
it
right,
is.
we're going live.
Hit it.
All right. Wait, are we live?
We're live.
Yeah, well,
Live.
oh my God, we're so live.
We're so live.
We're so live right now.
Man, I
Look
tell
at
you
this.
what, I don't feel alive with this cold today.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
You look alive
like-
though.
2 weeks in. Like, what? This is
Were
worse
you
than
only
COVID.
able to do 100 push-ups this morning?
I haven't done any yet.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Sorry to
you know
hear
he's
that.
feeling ill.
You know, it's
Yeah.
rough. Exactly. Exactly. How you guys been? Everything good?
Good.
Everything's good. Speaking of feeling alive, we have to do a show tomorrow morning. We have to be there at 9:00 a.m. for sound check to
Nope.
go on at 10 a.m.
Nope. Pass.
Look, I hope it's not far away.
No, it's local.
Yeah.
Okay.
A
All
Z100
right, that works.
radio event, and
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
with-
saw you post about that. I thought it was like a mix show.
no, it's with Flo Rida and Jelly Roll and us, and it's gonna be
Wow.
a shit show because it's at the shore, and everybody's been texting me like, "Yo, I'm taking off Friday. We're going hard. First thing in the morning." I'm like, "Yo, I'm going hard on an espresso and a
Yeah,
croissant."
Exactly. Exactly.
That's great.
9 a.m. on the shore.
Yep.
That reminds me of back in
Yeah.
the day. But
No
anyway,
thanks. That's not my vibe.
like more like not starting, but still going. So
Hey, can I brag, please, just briefly?
Of course.
About my time
suppose.
that I had last week. I was in Sweden last week.
oh
at a
yeah,
place
yeah.
called,
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Inchelsvik. Thanks, man. And I spent 4 days with just the most talented little bastards. They were so great at melody and lyric and singing ability, production, phenomenal producers there. It was just such a huge opportunity to meet a condensed, concentrated amount of talent in such a short period of time in one place. Normally you go and you meet one of these kinds of people every 10, but when you're meeting like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10,
Right.
you're like, what is happening? This is like a Twilight Zone. So shout out to Music Marketer in Inchelsvik, Sweden. It's an incredible place to be. I really enjoyed my time there, and I'm trying to stay in touch with as many of them as possible. And I hope that some of their songs will one day land here in American labels. Looking at you, Hess. Looking at you, Nick. And I'll be sending
Looking at
them all
you.
over.
Looking at you.
Yeah, buddy.
Looking at
Yeah,
you,
buddy.
man.
Anyway, it was
Yeah.
really great. So I feel very. It was tiring work. I was there at 9:30, 10, and I didn't leave until somewhere between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. For 3 days, 4 days in a row. So I was just
Very nice.
standard Padman ADE schedule.
Right.
But it felt at the end exhausting but fulfilling at the same time.
Right. That's awesome.
Love it.
You know, I
super
feel
awesome.
I in a small way I feel like we do that here, like, you know,
Yeah,
in the same way. Like I
Yeah.
get off the show sometimes, I'm like, what
Right.
what was that?
yeah, sure.
Like, how are we so fortunate to have
Mhm.
you know, demos like that and people
Yeah.
like showing up? You know, I'm just looking at who's jumping on now. It's like Radio Dave, Zach Mason,
Right.
Versu, you know, Rimnez, Z Major. Like, you know, it's the regular crew. Oh, I was telling Nick earlier, I met Barkin
Oh, nice. There you go. That's cool.
in the Armada office. Just randomly.
Nice. There you go.
Leveling up.
Uh-oh.
Leveling up. I like it.
I just lost everything.
Isn't it? While you're working on that, Hess,
One
isn't
sec.
it interesting that
Keep talking.
we know a lot of producers, right, who are constantly saying, "Yeah, I have to go to Splice to get a vocal. I don't know any vocalists. I don't know any. You know, I'm a producer. I produce music, but I don't have anything to go on top." Like I just met 30 individual singers and therefore songwriters, top line melody, and they like, yeah, I don't have anybody to put my songs
Right.
on top of. Like they're going, do you know any producers? And I'm like, how come you guys can't like
Right. There's no intermediary to like
Yeah.
facilitate that who isn't.
what's
I mean-
up? How's it going? Here to help.
Yeah, no, there
I'll be the
is.
intermediary.
There
know?
are
Hold on.
us, right? Like there's
Yeah.
people
Coming
that
back.
will facilitate it, but I wish there almost was like a platform that did that in a
Yeah.
in a streamlined way.
Yeah, I've heard of it before. I've heard of situations like it, but I just can't
Son of a
quite
gun.
recall if it's been super successful or not. But Yeah, but what you're talking about, that idea is really, I think, is really valuable. And honestly, that's probably the value that we bring as labels or as consultants or as publishers in the world or managers. You know, these people are the glue. They're the interface between the talent.
Totally. And I totally reject the idea. I like producers when they say that. There's so many dope vocalists out there, and it's like easier than ever to doom scroll Instagram through the hashtag singer and find dope vocalists and DM them.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all you got to do.
Like even the best singers in the world, like Linny and Aviella, they both post stuff and they'll put hashtag singer or hashtag something that you'd be able to catch them if you were looking close enough, you know.
Totally.
And and you know, they're all open for an opportunity. Like I know Linny and Aviella, for example, would go through their DMs and go, oh, this is an interesting opportunity, or this is possible, or whatever. And some things work, some things they come together and it makes sense. So absolutely. I think you need to, the biggest takeaway I learned from Sweden was that the talent ticks the box. Like if you have talent, you have talent, that's it. But sure, practice your craft and get better at it. That's within your control. But absolutely start asking the question. Start asking politely of others, how can they help you? You know, ask specific questions. Get in contact with people, and there's never a problem with asking a question politely. If you can figure out how to ask a question politely, then ask it. What have you got to lose?
Right. So I try to reframe that too. On the flip side, I always say, like, new artists, it's dope for you to have conversations with people like us, you, even singers and so forth, and ask what their problem points are, what their pain points are, and what they need. Yeah. And it might not even be your production. It might be some administrative. Maybe you're amazing in Microsoft Excel and they need you to do like data entry, or they need you to do like video editing and you could jump in and help. And then you like build off of that thing, whatever that thing is. It could be the production, which is awesome right away in the door. But like guys like you and I might need, or Hess might need something else that's a more practical skill that has nothing to do with music. And that's a great way to get in the door.
Dude,
quick story.
I'm the first one to raise my hand. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
I remember when Hess was talking about like getting an intern or some support, and one of the guys I managed, Domenico, this was many years ago, was like looking for an internship, and then they met, and he ended up working under Hess and built a relationship there, and met a bunch of contacts, and now works for Chartmetric full time as a result of having experience under his belt with Hess. And being in the door. So, and that had nothing to do with his production.
No, and I'm glad to help, like in those spots. Like I recently brought someone on part-time to help me with management because the emails were just getting way out.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind.
And I can't, and it's like, right. So, but I up until that point, I felt like, I didn't have a sheet where like everyone's stuff and like projects were here and there and flow, like it's in my head, right? And years ago I stopped doing that at radio promotion too, because I just couldn't keep it all in my head, right? I mean, I have a general sense if we're going up or down or sideways, or it feels like crap, or the song's not working, or it's working great. But that's intrinsic from me doing it all these years. But like the logistics of it, getting out the reports. I was telling Nick earlier today, I did 30 reports today just for Armada. 30 on projects that we have in various stages of, chill or Diplo or full radio or whatever, just starting, or, and it's like,
that's crazy.
I use like very complicated programs now to help me manage all these data sheets that people keep putting information in. And this program called Tableau lets me look at everything all at once. And with that, but I had to teach myself how to do that. But then I also asked, I met a couple data worms that were, super helpful. I'm like, I just needed to say this. I need to go all these places and bring back this. So,
I think that's if you can find someone who understands technology well enough to be able to utilize it in a way where you can manipulate data and simplify it, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. I have another thing, since we're in Mental Health Month. I had a thing that happened actually last night. I think was really, really interesting, but it pertains to, it was with my son, but it also pertains to like how we do, you know, in general. New artists and even, you know, those of us who've been in it more than 10 minutes. So, but you want to get to a couple demos first?
Yeah, sure. Let's play some music.
All right, cool. So if you're just joining us, this is Dope or Nope. Thank you for coming by again. We had a couple weeks off, so we have quite a few demos to get through. This is Lauren Padman, Vice President of Dimmock Records and studio aficionado, and obviously his acumen there brings him to places like Sweden to talk about creating music. Nick Dietrich from the Disco Fries and Liftoff recordings and Finish My Track and wow, you know, a ton of other stuff, and producing also without their name on things sometimes, and
sometimes
yeah, sometimes. But you know, people do that too, right? You don't always have to have your name on it. While you're doing your artist thing, you can still do that thing. When you have those type of talents, you're in demand.
Yep.
So let's get to the first stream. This is by Nipiki, and this is called Hard to Move, and this is Dope or Nope.
Hit it.
How's the volume? Good?
Good.
That is Nipiki, and that is Hard to Move.
So we've heard this before, right?
Have we?
I feel like
it wasn't bold, so I grabbed
no.
What
I mean is I feel like there's been changes made. Like we make some suggestions, and every now and then they come back with some changes. I just noticed the Disco Fries logo in the corner. I'm like, guys, like just gets it in there. That's fine. You should leave. It's great.
Oh wow! I got approval.
Yeah, you got approval. I just want to finish my track logo in the bottom corner, please. Yeah, I did that. You're welcome. 18 minutes in, not so bad.
Not bad. Right.
This is really good. The vocal is unbelievably good. Like really high quality, very emotional, super good. I like the reverb on it now. I remember it being quite washed. It feels really nice, clean. There was something funky that I wanted to listen to in the intro. So another time I'd listen to it again. The whole intro build, vocal, melody thing, something felt like it was out of key to me. It felt like two songs were playing or something. I actually had to check my tabs and put the volume up to punch it through to see if something was weird. But then when the drop hit, I'm like, oh, it's cleaned again. So that's just an area of something to check. But it felt nice. It felt like a really good record. And the vocal is the hero of the song.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you there. I thought maybe, just kind of going back to it real quick, I thought it took maybe a little long to get to the vocal.
I agree.
So that's 30 seconds, and the song is 2:09. So I kind of feel like if you're going to make it that short, totally cool, right? But
yes,
let's get to business.
Right.
That would be my only comment.
Got it.
I have zero other. I agree with you on the vocal. I like the melody. Obviously what you were talking about and clean versus maybe a little convoluted there, but I like the where it drops. I don't know. I'm gonna give that half a bell, actually.
Half a bell, okay.
Yeah, I'll take the other half a bell.
All right, so you get 1 bell.
Come on now.
So I would agree with both of you guys. For me, like the mix just wasn't quite there. I heard like some stuff conflicting. The reverb on the synth, I could do without. I like it as an effect in spots, like sending it out to a reverb. But I think I want to hear everything a little bit tighter because it's cool that the vocal has some effects on it and it's breathy and it's airy and light and in a space. But I almost want that synth to be just a little punchier. And with reverb on it, it's hard for that to happen. And then there's like a piano chord that kind of comes in and it hits in the drop, but it sort of rubs with that main synth a little bit. But I think that's a matter of like scooping out parts of each. So scoop out the synth where the piano sits, scoop out the piano where the synth mainly sits, so they're not just like rubbing against each other in there too much.
Got it.
But that would be it from my end.
Good stuff. All right.
Dope vocal. Awesome vocal.
Yeah. Again, really nice. Barkin, what's up, man? Nice to see you the other day at the Armada office. That kind of freaked me out of context. He's like, I'm barking. I'm like, wait.
It's not different world.
Next up is Rimnez, and this is just called Yeah. And you're listening to Dope or No. Here we go.
Lauren and I did hear this one, but I don't know that you have.
No, I haven't. I like the track. I'm going to move it up a little bit. Yeah, did you play that on the last show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Was it not in bold? Did I forget the
bold?
No.
It was, but he sent it again. It's like,
oh,
that's how they do it.
They hacked the system.
Hack the system. Right. Now that we've told everyone how we do that. Yeah, I like that. Actually, did you guys like it then?
Yeah, we gave him some feedback, but yeah, I think he got bells on this one.
Yeah, he got a half bell from you and a full bell from me.
There you go, bell and a half.
Bell and a half.
All right, I'll give it. So now I'll round it off with half a bell. How's that?
All right.
And now we're even. All right, so I'm
awesome.
Should I just bounce to the next track? All right.
I'll just give one more piece of feedback on this, which is it reminded me of a more pumped up version of Dirty South, Alamo. If you go and listen to Alamo by Dirty South, released on Vicious back in 2000 and something, 12, 11, I don't know, 8, 9. That was one of his last records on Vicious, and that is almost the same, but this is more pumped up.
Nice. By the way, John Corsi emailed me. Well, he emailed a promo, and I hit him back. He has a new record coming out called "You're Making Me High."
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, we should listen to that.
Yeah. Do you have a link for that? Shoot me a link.
Yeah, I can find you a link. Yeah, sure. All right.
In the meantime,
what's
all
next?
right, this is D'Amico and Valix, and this is called Dance. And this is called Dope or Nope.
Gonna dance till the sun hits our bodies right. So you never have to stop, just keep moving right. We can dance, dance. We can dance, dance. We can dance, dance. We can dance, dance.
Nice one.
Give me a bell. Good vibes.
I'm gonna take a bell. I'm gonna take a bell for that.
There you go.
That would be 3, please.
Oh, look at that.
Love it.
It's a trilogy of bells.
Super cool
really,
track.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, I mean, I don't know if I love the vocal, but I love the track a lot. And I love what the vocal's trying to do. Attitude wise, trying to be like sassy and all that.
Right.
I think that the vocal probably like lets it down slightly and puts it into commercial dance, and it could potentially be, you know, this could be like a Telecast record or a Nico and Sway record, but the vocal I think makes it slightly not that. Which might be able to be fixed, or I'm not sure, but I like it.
You think the vocal's too cheesy for the track?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. That's what
Do
I
you think, because I kind of thought something similar, but then I was like, maybe if you just took a couple key phrases and then messed with the pitch and did some formant automation and stuff like that to keep it like a little more dialed in versus like a full, this part is dope.
This part is sick. That
Yeah.
swung lead.
This part is really good.
Right.
Yeah, I do think the vocal's salvageable.
Yeah, I think so too. I just don't quite know what the answer is, I guess is my point.
Yeah, I think this is one of those cases where the track is like so good, you kind of maybe just are able to ignore that rub a little bit.
Right.
No? I mean,
Yeah.
I think so. Because you're like,
Yeah,
it's also
that's
not
what it
that
was for me.
long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I can make it.
It just needs to have a little bit. If you're gonna have it like that, it probably needs to be even more attitude, more sass, more like lean into it more even. At the moment, it sort of sounds like she's just reading it out off a page. It really needs to have more feeling in it. That's what I would say.
Get nasty.
Yeah,
Agreed.
there you go.
Yeah.
That'll work. All right. That was cool.
right,
Who's
so-
that for? By? Fashionista, you said?
No,
right?
that was since you're searching for it.
I am.
The name is on Enrico, but that's an
Enrico.
upcoming release apparently. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Self-release.
great. Nice.
I didn't see that.
Good record.
Do you want to do this Vicious track?
No, let's do it at the end.
All right, cool.
You know
Yeah,
it's going to be
we'll
awesome. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
we'll
really
probably
good.
also get bounced. Next one up is Bad Monkey. And what's that thing called? End of the sentence. This is Dope or Nope.
What's that thing called when you meet somebody and you feel like you're walking on a cloud, and every step you made all your life, wrong or right, led you to this place right here? Thing called when you meet somebody and you feel like you're walking on a cloud, and every step you made all your life, wrong or right, led you to this place right here, right now. You know, it's like when you were at work and you said to yourself, you know, I'm gonna have a good time tonight, I'm gonna go out. So you put on your favorite shoes.
As it's fading, and I want to know what he keeps saying.
You get into the mood. Oh, man.
There it is.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. What's that feeling called again?
All right. So that last drop setup was so much more compelling than the first drop setup.
Yes.
By miles.
And I think you got to take note of how you did that. Not saying it needs to be a copy paste, and it shouldn't be, but like there was so much more anticipation. The vocal was more interesting, and just all the phrases were cooler. So
agreed.
I would work on that first drop setup. The other thing is like the first drop felt like it just happened. Like you kind of just rolled into it without any tension and release.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you're waiting for that moment a little bit.
Yeah, totally. I mean, 100% agree. When the track came in, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the vocal, the first time it came in, it took a tiny bit away from me, particularly when it's laying there by itself. I didn't think that was necessary. But the second time it did that, you're right, it was more compelling because you just like, you wanted that to happen. The first time I didn't really want that to happen. I'm like, no, keep driving, keep going. But that would be my only comment on that. But yeah, I mean, I love the track.
I like all the parts of the record. I like that groove in that drop. That da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's
right.
Yeah. It feels really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a future bell for what's possible. For that record.
I gotta have
that one sound like. Yeah.
We have a future
Back to
bell
the future
for
bell,
possible.
please. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So what is that record?
That is Bad Monkey. What's that thing called?
Man, Bad Monkey's just constantly handing in great records.
Always.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
I think we
Such
have a couple of
reliable
guys.
source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one up is actually Kazaa, and this one is called Obsessed, another guy who constantly throws bombs our way. So let's do it. This is Dope or Nope.
I think about you here, waiting for you 'cause you're in my heart, and I'm obsessed with you. But it feels like so amazing. You know I wasn't faking. Tell me that you love me 'cause I want it so bad. Tell me that you love me 'cause I want it so bad. Tell me that you love me 'cause I want it so bad. Yeah.
Kazaa with Obsessed. Who wants to go first on that one?
Ed, Nick.
So I think this is, as far as like production quality and mixing, definitely a step up for Kazaa. I like where he's headed, clearly putting in the work. As far as like an identifiable super dope record, I don't think it's there for me. It feels like it feels like this could have come from XYZ artist, any artist, and it kind of has a bit of a generic sound to it, in my opinion. And I can't pinpoint what that is exactly, but it just doesn't stand out. Not that like the production isn't good and the vocal doesn't have moments. It's just like the collective of all of that isn't something for me. That's not to say like it's not good, because I do think like the quality of it is there. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it as well. I do wonder whether a record like this, what's gonna make a DJ who's got a dance floor or a lobby, a bar or something like that, a lounge bar, who's like going through records, why they're gonna play that song is the choice, is what you need to go through your head. Like, why are they making a choice to play your song? And I think that a record like this is probably one of those pressure records that I was telling you guys about. The idea of it being a record that's just got a bit of a vibe to it, and it's not about a dance floor. It's about people just getting early in the night, and it's like 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 sort of thing. It's people just turning up, and you know, the lights are just like blue scanning lights, and there's like nothing really happening. There's no dance floor yet. It's that kind of mood record for me. So I'd probably grab at it for that purpose, I think. But listening to it on streaming services, when are you going to listen to it for a stream? You might listen to it like late night, like a bit of a late night Illuminati kind of vibe, you know? So I don't know. I didn't mind it. I think it's really cool. I think it's a half bell for me.
All right.
Nice. So I'm really glad that you described it that way, as like dance floor versus, you know, bar /
Yeah, I can imagine the kinds of gigs that I used to DJ at where it would work. I can see where it could work.
Right. Definitely at the beginning, and definitely something I would reach for, because I feel like it sets the mood.
Yeah.
But doesn't create the mood. So
yes.
A distinguishable difference there. And I think that's what you're describing. At least that's how I hear it. You know, but looking at, you know, people who program, a lot of which people we speak to, whether it's a DSP or a radio person. So there's this one category that we just described, and then there's the other category where not so much DSPs, but radio has X amount of songs, right? They have this many songs on their list, 35 usually, sometimes less. So what is it that makes this or a record stand in with the other 35, right? Is it huge social media? Is it a TikTok? All those things? Or is it just like, I have to play this? Right. And so not that was its purpose, but if that's your goal, that you have to get in that I have to play this space, right? And that's the part that I don't think it's there, but it is in this other category where it's just like, warm up, feels good, nice vibe, gets people in the mood a little bit, and then you like, you know, then you take the volume from 6 to maybe like 8 after that. You know?
Yeah.
But I would definitely give it a half a bell myself. Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
There we go. You guys are kinder than I am.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just from the outside, right? Not, you know, assuming that some of that production will be, you know, in the final stages, like when they start to really kind of mix it down a little bit. Let's keep on going. Versu is another regular.
So do you want to back announce that record, by the way? I feel like it's important.
Sure. Let me go back. Hold on. That was Kazaa. And I have to open it up again. And the name of that song is Obsessed. Right?
Nice.
Cool.
Cool vibe record.
All right. Versu. And this is, I'm assuming it's called Power. And this is the radio edit. And you are listening to Dope or Nope. What's up, Mike Warner? Mario.
Mike Warner.
got the power. I'm just rolling with it. What you devour, my attitude is living. Through your hands, through your legs, through your body. Look in your eyes, but they turn hypnotic. I'm captured in your gaze, there ain't no walking away. You found it, I'm just following. Was about to take my clothes off, but I'm calling it a night. You're all in it, you're all in it, you're all in it, I'm just rolling with it. What you devour, my attitude is living. Just let me chase you, babe. I know you want it. Don't let me win this game before I start it. It's over and done, baby. But right now I'm still
So that is Versu with Power.
I'm gonna give this one half a bell for a couple reasons. On the positive side, I think that it's all here. Like, you have the menu for the restaurant, it's here, all the ingredients, but now we gotta lay it out. I want to know what the apps are, what the entrees are, and what dessert is in a very concise order. It's like the arrangement was interesting from a listener perspective, but as it functions as a club record, it's a little all over the place to me. Like, there's arrangement's a little hard to follow, but I really enjoyed like the production, the sound design. I love the stuff Versu does. I think he's got it nailed from that perspective. I would implore you to bring up a couple bigger dance records, pull them into your session that are in the same lane as this, and mark off where certain moments happen, what happens at what points in the record, when the vocal comes in, when the vocal goes out, because I think the vocal stays in quite a while in certain sections.
Yeah.
And it could get dialed back. And then use that as a template for the record of, as a good indicator of where to bring things in and out. Because I think, like I said, you have it all there, but now it's a matter of like dialing certain things up and dialing certain things back, so things have room to breathe and it has moments.
Yeah.
But half a bell for sure for me.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll take the other half bell.
All right.
I think that the vocal is really great and sort of is the part that does most of the work. I think it reminds me of Stonebridge in some ways, the production a little bit, but the vocalist, it's like, God, this reminds me of a Stonebridge record from around like mid 2000s, and really good production. The arrangement, I agree, is a little weird, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, this vocal's really nice, but why is it playing over this little part? So yeah, some arrangement changes, and I think you've got something. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun listen.
Once again, that's Versu with Power. I'm going to go with a half a bell.
All right.
I think there's some easy fixes and tweaks and maybe an edit. I mean, that sounds fairly radio ready to me.
Yeah.
There are parts like what you were saying, Nick, where it's like too much talking, if you will.
Yep.
That's the one thing that popped into my head. It's like too much talking right now. But
yeah, sure.
But I enjoyed because the vocal, sonically was so pleasing, and the lyric was nice too. I just felt like it could be in some spots, like you said, a little bit less. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the trick, I mean, Lorne does this all the time. He's famous for it, in fact. Bounce out the instrumental, bounce out the acapella, and work with just those two elements, so you're not distracted by the rest of the session and how certain parts are coming in and out. Even especially if your session's a mess, like most producers, it just makes things. It streamlines everything on how you can play around with an arrangement, and then mock it up that way, and then go back into the session and do it the clean way. But that way you could even chop out like chunks of the record really easily and see like, yo, I don't even need this 8 bars after the chorus or whatever it might be. It's easy to chop out entire parts of the song that might serve the song better. So Lorne is the master of that.
Thank you very much. It's very kind.
Great advice.
Yeah, it's just if you have the individual parts, then you could just be muting them. Like you just turn it off when it doesn't make sense for it to be there, or snapping it in when it does. That's really all it is when you've got an a cappella against an instrumental. It's good advice. I couldn't agree with you more on that one.
You couldn't agree with him saying that you're the guy?
I couldn't agree with me more on that one. I
heard you wanted to be clear on what you're agreeing with.
Yeah. Hess, you wanted to touch on something earlier, a mental health topic. I think now's a good time.
Yeah. So just real quick, last night.
Actually, after I've spoken.
It was, speaking of mental health, last night was my son's championship game. They had gone through Baseball Little League. It was his first year, so he literally started from scratch.
Oh, wow.
Admittedly, I'm not like a baseball guy. Like I've played over the years like a ton of softball, but like, it's not an exciting sport to me necessarily. But you get people and your kids involved in teams. It's a great learning experience. So they get all the way through this thing and they win last night, right? And we get home and he's going to sleep and he seems like not excited about the win. It was huge too, because that team slaughtered them about 2 weeks ago, like 13-3. And they won last night by like 3 or 4 runs. So I was like, what's the matter? And he was like, I'm happy about the game. And I'll paraphrase here, but I feel like I didn't contribute. Like, what do you mean? He's like, I didn't, a couple guys like whacked the ball into the outfield and there were some great plays. And he had, an infield play, which was really good. But, he didn't feel like he scored a run. He's like, I didn't even get to base. He fouled out. He struck out once, and so like he was upset about that he didn't like get a hit and get to the base. And so I explained to him, what his contributions are as a team member, not necessarily, that hit or that big play or that, there are team members at times that do that, and then those same guys in the next game are just like, they bolster the whole team, right? And then I walked out, and he was fine. And then I walked out of the room and I thought about this whole scenario and how we feel about ourselves sometimes when we're part of teams. We may not be, I'm part of several labels, and, sometimes I'm the guy who hits the one into the outfield, and sometimes I'm there for support and other people are killing it, and it doesn't matter, right? But like that feeling is, you can distill that down to if you're feeling like you're not enough. Am I enough? Am I enough for this team? Am I enough for myself? And like the biggest culprit is that you've let yourself down, right? That's the worst voice in your head. So I think this pertains to me anyway, like what we do in the music industry, because it's literally one of the toughest industries to scratch your way through, and sometimes it takes years, and unfortunately sometimes it never happens, but a lot of the times it does. And the way you do that is by raising your hand and asking questions, and being part of a team, and putting people around you that are important, and I think it's a big deal. And I would argue that you are enough. But sometimes you just need help, because I don't do anything alone. Myself personally, in the 34 years that I'm doing this, I don't do anything alone. I have team members with me all the time. So that's my my mental health month thing.
Nice. That's cool.
That's really good. Really, really good. And it's something that's never talked about, I feel like. That specific thing that you're talking about. It's something that I wrestle with all the time. Like, and I'm in a duo. And, like, there's only two of us running the show. And it's like, anybody who knows me knows that I'm relentless all the time. And sometimes it still feels, especially in our industry, it's like you feel like, am I doing enough? Are you sure?
Am I doing right? And you ever drive down the road? I know this happens to me a lot in this area for some reason. I don't know why, but there are signs as you're driving by in people's lawns. You're enough. You got this. That ever happen to you?
Yeah,
I've seen him. Yeah,
it's crazy. I'm like, that's so nice for people to stick that stuff in their lawn.
Yeah,
man.
I'm like, so cool.
I should do that.
Right.
I'm on a dead end though, so that's a problem.
Right. You're enough, but there's no more road. Yeah.
It's not you, it's me.
Right. You're enough, but sorry, you have to turn around.
But I'm not. I don't have enough road. Sorry.
So
yeah, that's good. Very good advice. Very good thought. Yeah.
Want to do another demo?
I think people aren't kind enough to themselves, and they don't sort of see that that they're not giving themselves enough time to contribute or enough time to be part of something. And I had an artist just this week speak to me about imposter syndrome and about how EDC was happening, and they were like, well, I'm not there, and therefore I feel like, why am I doing this kind of thing? Just words to that effect, let's call it. And I made the point, I'm like, well, where you are in your career means that I get to say, would the 10-year younger version of you be stoked on where you are? So hypothetically, let's say that this person's 30. If the 20-year-old version of them came in and was like, wow, I can't believe you've done this. Congratulations. This is so awesome. But you're in it and you don't realize. You're like, oh, this is so shit. Like, but actually, you would have been stoked on where you are right now. And it was just something that occurred to me. It's a similar thing in some ways. Is like, am I enough? Those kinds of conversations. It happens quite regularly to everybody. But sometimes thinking that way. And if you're young, then there's a flip side. And the flip side of the young side of thinking about it, if you are young, is like, what would the 10-year older version of me say to me right now? If they walked in the room and they sat down, what would they say? And I've done this exercise with so many people, even just last week in Sweden. And I said it to a girl last week and she started to cry. And she said, she would say to me, you're doing it right. Keep going, keep pushing. You've got this. Look what we've achieved together. Words like that. And I'm like, yeah, huh? Right. So what are you going to do?
So now what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tend to set the bar at I woke up. I'm in good shape.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I woke up.
That's a good one.
I woke up.
I heard someone say, if I could give you $10 million, but you're dead tomorrow morning, would you take it? And people were like, nope. I was like, okay, so waking up tomorrow morning is worth $10 million. So there's 50,000 people in the local cemetery who would be stoked to be in your position right now with your problems.
Correct.
Mm.
And also, you can't take that with you. Next demo up, Brux, and this is called Ella Rose dash
Brux again?
YU. Brux.
Oh, hang on. I need to get very loud right now.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to start it over. This is Dope or Nope, and this is Brux. Turn it up.
Say I'm happy with my conscience. Wait until it all makes sense. I just wanna see if we have lane. Trying my best not to offend. And I know you're not my usual kind of prospect. Suspicion holding me back from what my body's saying.
Lauren's already like
to take a bet. Addition taking advantage as a distraction.
stop now because I want to listen. I'm gonna want to listen to the whole thing. So it's not gonna work.
So many dope parts
with Ella Rose.
Okay, that's a standing ovation. Well played. Nice one there, Brock. Smashing it out of the park again. Nice one, Australia.
Right.
That's phenomenal. I'll take a bell for the beginning of the song, the middle of the song, the end of the song. I want bells, all my future bells for next week. I want on this song. This song's crazy. It's very, very good. She's a masterclass. She's a freaking masterclass every time. The use of the bottom end in creating propulsion is so good. The drums, the bass, the percussion. When the hats came in, it wasn't a normal hat pattern. It was an unusual hat pattern, which kept propelling you and wanting you to hear the next part. She keeps creating layers and keeps adding to things. It's really great. The only thing I thought was and I know it was a conscious decision that she's made, is to make there's a piece of percussion in the drop which was particularly loud, and I don't know whether that's exactly the right move or not, but it's a conscious choice I think she's made. And also, I feel like the entire song, I BPM'd it at 130. I'd be really curious as to what the feeling would be if it was like 126 or 7. Like, what would that feel like? Would that give it a more of a sexy vibe, a little bit more lounge bar-ish? Still has energy because of percussion.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to slow this down and get a feeling for how it would feel at 126 to 128. Maybe 126 actually. Yeah, so that was my only thoughts to how to even improve it further than where it already is. So well played. Fantastic.
I love this comment. I just want to read this comment from Mario Tavares. Sometimes stuff just feels like content. Other times it feels like there's a real perspective. This feels like the latter. Amen. I love that, because I think all of us as artists, we just, I don't know, we're cranking them out, and sometimes it's like you feel like you need to, right, to stay relevant, to stay active for the algorithm, and just have a release schedule and all this stuff. And this is like a special record. Like, you could tell there was a lot of thought put into it. It's not cookie cutter. It fits for certain sets, though, and it works as a DJ tool and a club record, but it's still super unique. It's got its own sound to it. The only thing I thought was, like, when the first drop came in, I was like, oh, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to take in at once. It wasn't busy per se. It was just a lot hit me at one time where I needed to digest all the parts. And I usually like it a little more stripped back at first and then take me on the journey. Right. So, I mean, that would be my only criticism.
I would say you're welcome. On behalf of Brox. If she was here, she had the gumption, she would say that. She'd be like, yep, well, you're welcome. That's exactly what I was trying to do. It's make you to go, whoa, is anything out of key? No. Is anything out of pattern? No. Oh, it's just so much. So the fact that it comes at you like a wall without being full. I thought that was
totally
cool. By the way, this is a remix. This is a Brox remix of Ella Rose. And it says here in the notes that it's going to exist in the form of an NFT. So
dope.
So that's like, it's not out into the real world. Which is why I was thinking, I wonder who that vocal is, and I wonder why there's a lot of vocal, because Brox doesn't normally use as much vocal. But yeah, very cool. Well played.
Love it.
But I will say, I'll take a bell, please. And also, as many times as I listen to Brox's music, as I follow her and I'm a fan, I can't think of any particular time when I'm listening to a track, I'm like, oh, I think it's going to go here. And it never does that.
Yeah, I know.
There's always a surprise around the corner. So like, whoa.
Yeah,
and all in the same song. Like, I could do that in every one of her songs 4 times or 5 times. Like,
yeah, exactly. She's very crafty with her her transitions.
Yeah, and with intention, like you were saying. Like, I have never felt like when she's making stuff like, oh, I'm just gonna randomly toss this in here. Like, that's, I feel like everything is
it's all well thought out.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Masterclass, I'm telling you, masterclass.
Right. Let's do this Vicious record on the way out, because I know, Nick, you got to go.
Yeah.
Let me kill this.
I got Danny coming into town, so.
Uh-oh,
Nice.
watch out. Danny.
Danny comes to town.
Is he the fry or
I didn't hear that.
Oh, that jumped right in.
so loud, this fight.
Yeah.
This is
sorry.
good. So let's quickly talk about this one, if you want. This is John Corse, who is the one of the original co-founders with Andy Van at Vicious in Australia, and he's like the Cascade of Australia who never really put out records. He was easily the biggest DJ in Australia for the longest time, and this is a new original from him.
Yeah, actually, just real quick, the title of the song is "Making Me High," which is
A cover.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, this sounds great. Let me give this a little shot of volume here, and then we'll be right back.
I always think of you inside of my private thoughts. I can't imagine you touching my private heart. And just the thought of you can't help but touch myself. That's why I want you so bad. And just one night of yeah, with you there beside me all night. Do it again and again. You know I want you so bad, baby, baby, baby. Ooh, I get so high when I'm around you, baby. I can touch yourself. You ain't my temperature rise. Oh, baby, you're making me can't get my mind off you. I think I might be obsessed. The very thought of you makes me wanna get undressed. I wanna feel it in spite of what my heart says. I guess I want you to bad. All I want is come on, you there beside me. Oh, baby, doing it again and again and again and again. You know I want you so bad, baby, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. When I'm around you,
Wow.
Love it.
Holy crap.
The swing on those drums and that bass,
Dude, everything. You know what I feel
fantastic.
You're like, you pull into a parking lot and in drives this like classic car from the 60s, somewhere around there, and it drives by and they park and you just look at the car in amazement that it's like 2000 whatever we're at, and it's just so simple, like, because a lot of the cars back then were a little bit simple, and when they're like kept in original form, and then like the lines are so clean and streamlined, it's just so,
Yeah.
and when someone like, you know, really kept it up or repainted it or whatever in a nice way, it's just like so simply beautiful. Like, there's no bells and whistles, there's not even a freaking seatbelt in the car, like nothing's going on, but it's so gorgeous in its simplicity. That's how I feel about this song.
What a picture to paint. I couldn't agree more.
It's just wow.
Everything in its right place on this one, and he
Yeah.
brings in that 303 and then pulls it out, but it works. It's not random.
Right.
So nice.
I really love the bottom end of it. There's like a bass wobble almost, but it's super tight and clean, and it's very, very low. And I also like this section. Like the drop when it came in with the hats, you can hear now that the piano is very muted. It's just little stab, little stab, little stab. It's not,
Yeah.
you know for sure that the instinct when you get to a drop is to get the pianos dancing and doing all the work and punching around wherever else, but it's been purposely pulled back so that it's
it's
more
all-
understood. Crafty John Corse.
Exactly.
played.
Well,
3 bells,
we've done it
please.
again.
3 bells.
3 bells. 4 bells. Give them all the bells.
Yeah.
All the bells.
Well played.
Well, that should be fun. We're going to hear that probably a lot in the summertime. A lot of Australian
think
love
so.
today. Just saying.
Oh, thanks.
A lot of tall poppies out there.
Hey, all the tall poppies.
Right.
Let them grow.
All right, Nick, I know you got to jump. What are you doing this weekend? You're playing
Tomorrow
right?
morning, bright and early, I'll be pumped full of caffeine and rocking the
Jersey
stage.
Shore. You'll have a slice of pizza in one hand and
100%.
coffee in the other.
Fries,
and he's ready to go.
Fries on the boardwalk. Come on.
Right. Disco Friends.
Of course. So we're playing there tomorrow, and then Scottsdale at Casa Amigos on Saturday. And we'll be on BPM all weekend with a guest mix, so you can catch us on there.
Have a nice long weekend.
Very nice.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Lauren, what are you up to?
Let me see. I have tennis, believe it or not, on Saturday. And then I'm catching up with Don Diablo, actually. He's got a big show at Exchange in LA on Saturday night.
Nice.
So we're doing some pre-gaming at his new house in West Hollywood. He now lives here, which I'm very happy about. Yep. And then
that's great.
And then we're going out to his big headlining show at Exchange for Insomniac. It's going to be sick.
That's awesome.
Very,
That's
very
it.
cool.
And Sunday, I'm going to go through all my receipts and try to make some sense of my life. I hate expenses so badly. Anyway.
Oh my God. Yes, sir.
Do you have an app for that?
No, but I need one.
Expensify.
Yeah, I heard about it. I need it to fit in with my bookkeeper's situation, which is QuickBooks. So I'm having that headache at the moment.
I have the app. I don't use it very well.
Okay, I'll look at it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take the advice.
I have ordered
What about
10
you?
bags of mulch, gravel,
Great. Awesome.
and a slew of patio equipment that will be, or furniture that we're putting together this weekend. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Who needs push-ups
I'll be
when
here.
you've got mulch and rocks?
I mean, for real. For real.
Yeah, huh?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for joining us again. This has been another episode of Dope or Nope. Please join us next Thursday. I think Raquel will be back. And we'll do it at 3 p.m. on Thursday, EST. And don't forget to hug someone you love. It's never too late to tell them how you feel. And where are we rating, Mr. Nick?
Where are we going? Only got a couple here. Spawn, do you got anybody for me? If not, I'm just going to pick out one over here. No?
Well,
No?
thanks everybody. It's been
Thank
awesome.
you guys.
Muchas
We're going
gracias.
to,
guys.
Sounds
going to
great.
DJ Icy Ice. Here we go.
Icy Ice. There it is. See you guys.
Peace out.